I've been hearing a lot of conflicting opinions about how to pack on muscle faster than ever. Some people swear by the latest scientific research, while others seem determined to follow old-school advice, no matter what. One moment, someone says lift heavy and eat more, and the next, someone else argues for high reps and calorie cycling. There's that persistent myth that you have to suffer through endless hours at the gym and choke down bland meals to see even a tiny bit of growth. But what if I told you science is finding new and more efficient ways to bulk up without tormenting ourselves? And what if a simple kitchen staple could actually speed up your recovery? You've probably heard a lot of crazy ideas, so which ones can we truly trust? Stick around because we're going to unravel the hidden secrets, clear up the confusion, and reveal how to avoid some pretty common muscle building mistakes. By the end of this, your gains might just double in a matter of weeks. Believe me, it's going to be really interesting. By the way, if you're as passionate about fitness as I am, definitely check out the rest of the channel. Feel free to hit that like button or subscribe for more science-backed workouts and nutrition hacks. Now let's jump right into the nitty-gritty of what might be holding your muscle gains back and how you can fix it. I really want to start with the fundamentals, those little things that slip under the radar but turn out to be massive roadblocks. When I first stepped into a weight room, I figured all I needed to do was throw around some dumbbells. I saw big guys benching, squatting, and deadlifting, so I tried to copy them. But I made a ton of mistakes, from rushing my sets to neglecting my nutrition, and it showed. Eventually, I realized those mistakes weren't just rookie slip-ups. They were fundamental pitfalls many people keep falling into even after months or years of training. The surprising part is that once I started correcting these things, my results skyrocketed. That's why I absolutely love talking about it now. I get so excited knowing that these small tweaks can spark a huge transformation. First, let's explore that classic mistake of focusing on the pump without paying attention to overall workload or actual progressive overload. You know how we all love that swollen feeling in our muscles after a few sets of curls or presses? It's almost addictive. But the truth is, while the pump might feel great and give you that instant gratification, it doesn't necessarily mean you're forcing your muscles to grow. Over time, if you're not adding heavier weights or increasing training volume, you're basically spinning your wheels. I've been there. When I was a kid, I often heard my older cousins say, just chase that burn. But chasing the burn without systematically challenging yourself is like running on a treadmill set to the same speed every day and expecting to suddenly set a personal record. The tension must consistently evolve for your muscles to adapt. Now, moving on to something a bit more sneaky, inadequate rest between workouts. Recovery is a game changer. You've probably heard people brag about working out 7 days a week, claiming it's the key to success. But if you're hammering the same muscles day in and day out, they never get a chance to recover. Muscles grow when you're resting, not when you're blasting them nonstop. I used to think sleeping was just downtime I couldn't control. But let me tell you, focusing on quality sleep, making sure you're getting 7 to 8 hours, did more for my growth than any fancy supplement I ever tried. And not just that, scheduling rest days and active recovery sessions into your weekly plan gives your muscles the breather they need. So if you're someone who's all gas, no brakes, consider reevaluating that strategy. So, let's consider the role of nutrition. Everyone's favorite topic, right? We can't talk muscle building without diving into how we fuel our bodies. One of the biggest mistakes is either drastically overeating or undereating. You'll see some bodybuilders scarfing down colossal amounts of food, thinking more is always better, which often leads to a lot of excess body fat. On the flip side, you have folks who don't eat enough protein or who fear healthy fats and carbs, ultimately starving their muscles. That sweet spot, where you're in a moderate calorie surplus and hitting your protein targets, is the gold mine. It doesn't matter how hard you train. If you're not giving your body the building blocks it needs, you're always going to see subpar results. But what about those hidden nutritional gems? I'm glad you asked, because there's one ingredient in particular I want to highlight: garlic. Now, this might surprise you. When we talk about muscle building, we usually go on about chicken breasts, fish, oats, or protein shakes. Very few people mention garlic in the same breath as muscle growth. And that's unfortunate, because garlic has been gaining traction among fitness enthusiasts for its potential benefits on both recovery and overall health. When I first heard about garlic being beneficial for muscle gains, I thought it was a gimmick, some old wives' tale or a random piece of internet lore. But the more I looked into it, the more intrigued I became. I really like it when ancient remedies align with modern science. Garlic has been used for centuries for its medicinal properties. Studies now suggest that the active compound in garlic, called allicin, may help reduce inflammation, lower cortisol levels, and even support healthy testosterone. Cortisol is that pesky stress hormone that can hamper muscle growth by breaking down muscle tissue. Keeping it under control is key for anyone serious about bulking up. On top of that, if your testosterone is in a healthy range, your capacity for muscle growth generally improves, assuming your training and nutrition are on point. By the way, I'm definitely not saying to go munch on raw garlic by the clove, unless you're a huge garlic fan. The smell might drive your friends away, but hey, maybe that's a small price to pay for bigger biceps if you can handle it. Jokes aside, adding garlic to your meals or considering an aged garlic extract supplement could be a worthwhile experiment. Of course, it's no magic bullet, but it's such a small addition with a potentially big payoff. At the very least, it makes your meals taste better, so why not? Next, I want to dive deeper into another muscle-building pitfall that often goes unnoticed: ignoring the mind-muscle connection. You might be using proper form, but if you're just going through the motions, you're not going to get the maximum benefit. It's not just about moving weight from point A to point B, it's about controlling that weight and really feeling the target muscle work. When I started focusing on the mind-muscle connection, I realized I needed lighter weights at first because I was forced to slow down my reps. But guess what? My results improved dramatically. Being truly present in each rep, especially in exercises like bicep curls or triceps extensions, made a night and day difference. Now, I want to talk about the overcomplication of workout routines. You see it all. The time online. These elaborate 15 exercise programs that claim to target every single fiber in your body in hyper-specific ways. There's a place for variety, but let's be real. Sometimes simpler is better. Compound movements like squats, deadlifts, bench presses, overhead presses, and pull-ups form the backbone of serious muscle growth. Accessory exercises are important, too, but you can't neglect the basics. If you're trying to fix your chest with 8 versions of the bench press in one workout, you might be overdoing it. Focus on a few key moves and nail them with proper intensity and progression. Another aspect of training that can sabotage your progress is ignoring your weaker muscle groups or imbalances. We all love training the show muscles, like chest and arms, but if your posterior chain, back, glutes, hamstrings is neglected, you risk both plateaus and possible injuries. When I first got into lifting, my shoulders were always a weak spot. I overtrained my chest, neglected my upper back, and ended up with chronic shoulder pain. It took me a while to realize that balancing out all muscle groups isn't just for aesthetics. It's also crucial for strength and long-term joint health. Spending time on those less glamorous areas might feel like a drag, but it pays off when you can train consistently without nagging injuries. Speaking of consistency, one of the biggest muscle building killers is jumping from program to program too quickly. We're all guilty of this, me included. I used to read a new workout plan in a magazine and think, this is it. This will be the routine that transforms me. 2 weeks later, I'd find another routine and jump ship. Your body thrives on consistent progression. So pick a program that's well-rounded, evidence-based, and suits your schedule. Then stick to it for at least 8 to 12 weeks, tracking your progress. Keep a training log or use an app to note down weights and reps. That way, you can actually measure improvement over time rather than guessing. Now, let's circle back to the subject of nutrition for a moment, because I want to emphasize the difference between macros and micros. Everyone seems to be hyper-focused on protein, carbs, and fats, and rightly so to some extent. But it's easy to forget micronutrients like vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support overall health and bodily functions, including recovery. Garlic, for instance, contains not just allicin, but also manganese, vitamin B6, and vitamin C. All of these contribute to the synergy your body needs to repair and grow muscle tissue. Pairing garlic with other nutrient-dense foods like leafy greens, berries, and lean proteins rounds out your diet and keeps your immune system strong, which is crucial when you're pushing your body to the limit in the gym. By the way, if you want more tips on optimizing your workouts and diet, definitely check out some of the other videos on this channel. I share plenty of recipes, including a garlic-infused meal or two, and in-depth guides on how to smash through plateaus. Trust me, you'll be inspired to try new approaches and keep your routine exciting. So, at this point, you might be wondering how all of this ties together into doubling your gains. The short answer is that there's rarely one single factor that magically multiplies your results overnight. It's the combination of avoiding the common mistakes, like insufficient progressive overload, poor recovery, unbalanced training, and inconsistent nutrition, and adding those little nutritional edges, such as incorporating garlic and prioritizing micronutrients. When you correct these key issues, your body finally gets the green light to grow. It's like removing the speed limit on your potential. In just a few weeks of consistent, disciplined effort, you'll notice that you look and feel stronger, your workouts are more productive, and you're recovering faster than ever before. Absolutely love the idea that small changes can lead to huge improvements. It's really motivating to realize that you might have been just a few tweaks away from hitting your next milestone. And it's not just about vanity or looking great in a tank top, although that's a nice bonus. Building muscle also boosts your metabolic rate, improves your posture, and can even help with mental health. Confidence in your physical abilities often spills into other areas of life, from work to personal relationships. That's a big reason why I'm so passionate about spreading the word on these topics. By now, we've talked about progressive overload, rest, diet, the mind-muscle connection, simplifying your routine, balancing your muscle groups, and the sneaky benefits of garlic. It might sound like a lot, but all these elements become second nature once you start applying them. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Focus on 1 or 2 improvements at a time. Maybe start adding a clove or 2 of garlic to your meals if you can handle it, or look into a supplement form if you really want to experiment. At the same time, adjust your training to ensure you're truly pushing yourself in each workout, but still allowing adequate rest. Keep track of your progress every week or 2. And if you see improvements, that means you're on the right track. Now, let's recap everything in simpler terms. First, address mistakes like using the pump as your only gauge for success. Training without enough rest and neglecting nutrition. Then, consider the unique role that garlic can play as part of a balanced, health-oriented approach. Keep the mind-muscle connection in focus. Don't overcomplicate your workouts with excessive, flashy exercises, and pay attention to weaker areas and potential imbalances. Stay consistent with whichever routine you choose, and don't forget about micronutrients. All these components working together can dramatically boost your results. When you think about it, avoiding these pitfalls isn't rocket science. It's about recognizing where you might be slipping up and making a conscious effort to change. You don't need the next biggest secret in fitness. Sometimes returning to the basics and adding a fresh perspective, like a flavorful twist of garlic, can be just what you need to break through a plateau and see explosive growth. Trust me, your future self will thank you. If you've been enjoying these insights and want to keep the momentum going, definitely check out my other videos and consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow and lets me know you're finding value in these discussions. Plus, you'll be the first to know whenever I post a new workout tip or research-based diet strategy. So here's my final thought for you. Muscles don't grow in isolation, and neither do our efforts. Everything is connected. Our diet, our rest, our mindset, and even the small things in our kitchen cabinet like garlic that can make a big difference. It's all a big puzzle waiting to be assembled. How will you put these pieces together? What's the first step you're going to take right after watching this video? Let me know in the comments. I can't wait to hear your plan and cheer you on. Thanks for sticking with me until the end. I hope you walk away with the understanding that muscle building isn't just about grinding harder. It's about working smarter and paying attention to details that might otherwise slip by. Remember, the magic really happens when you adopt a holistic approach. Train consistently, eat well, sleep enough, and keep the stress in check. Who would have guessed that a small, pungent ingredient like garlic could be part of the recipe for success? The possibilities are endless. Take those small steps one by one and watch your gains double before you know it. Alright guys, I'm signing off for now. Keep challenging yourselves, keep having fun with your workouts, and never forget to spice up your routine, literally and figuratively. Until next time, stay strong and stay curious. And here's a question for you to think about on your fitness journey. If you had the chance to add or remove one habit to supercharge your progress, what would it be? Feel free to share it in the comments and let's learn from each other's experiences. See you in the next video.